All right. Welcome everyone back to another round. We're at the halfway point of the season now with tier 2 white. I'm just getting up the standings. So after round 3, which was at Watkins Glen, so still in America, we're at Laguna today. It was Distinct Raf who had the lead of the championship. He has 87.6 ahead of Gilles and only 12 ahead of Perry, who missed the opening round. But Perry is also missing this one, so he's going to drop back out of the championship fight probably at this point. And then you got Senor Fak in fourth and Higgsy in fifth in the two Audis, which actually puts Team Audi at the top of the Constructors' Championship. So really solid consistency there by both of them. Looking to add to that today. They are 11 points ahead of the McLarens, which are Gilles, and also it's Deco, who is down in 13th in the standings at the moment. So let's get the qualifying results up so that we can see where everyone is going to be lining up today. We've only got 10 people actually racing at Laguna, so we've had a bit of a bloodbath in terms of availability, but that's already going to be improved for next week. I think it was just bad timing all around for people. So in 10th place, we've got the Jaguar. We've got Sargent, who set a lap time of a 22.9. So every single driver in this tier, at least in the 22s, which is pretty solid from all of them. And all within a second of pole time as well. So Static 0.961 away from pole. So still not a massive amount away. He was a tenth slower than P9, who is Deco, who is fighting for that Constructors' Championship. So at least he's starting in the top 10, everyone is. So they're all going to be guaranteed points in this sprint race. So you'll be able to add to that. Maybe gain some places because the McLaren is fairly good round here. Then in 8th place, we got Eroticos. He was 6 tenths off pole with a 22.6 in the Renault, which again, it looks like this is going to be the strongest track of the season so far for the Renault. Apparently, you can fuel save and a little bit and not have to put in fuel at your pit stop in the feature, which is absolutely crazy. I think that's first. So we'll see if Eroticos could do that because it was done in, I think, tier 1 at least. Maybe Badabig did it in the other one, in the other tier. Then we got Gilles in 7th, so both McLarens not having a great qualifying here. A 22.6, just very slightly quicker than Eroticos. But he may get overtaken at the start because the McLaren's not the strongest off the line. Then we got Raf in 6th place, so a big shock. The two people challenging for the championship in the top two are 6th and 7th on the grid today. He's in the Lexus. He did a 22.4, only 4 tenths off a pole position, but down in 6th. And he's lining up behind Senor Fak in the first of the two Audis. So really good qualifying there for Team Audi. Again, not the best starter. Neither is the Lexus nowadays. It used to be pretty good off the line. So we'll have to see what happens there. Then we got Scotty in 4th. Really good qualifying for Scotty. 3 tenths off pole. The Vantage is really good round here. I've been saying it even before the race. I think people who've been here ages might remember Joe Royal. He used to drive the Vantage when it was even worse, basically slower off the Meta, and he still won in tier 2 in the Vantage around here in the feature race. So I've always thought it's got something. Maybe it's the acceleration from the slow corners because there's so many of them. That helps the Vantage. Then in 3rd place, we've got Fluffy Butt in the other Jag. So Team Jaguar are trying to get some good points on the board here. And this is one of his better qualifyings in 3rd. 2 tenths off the pole. He actually set an identical lap time to P2 Asseldor in the Alfa Romeo. Much better qualifying from Asseldor. Last week was a bit of a rough one for him, falling down the standings a little bit, so he'll want to take advantage of today and leap up the leaderboard. Then we've got Higgsy in P1. I think this might be Higgsy's first ever pole position at tier 2 level. I don't think I've ever seen Higgsy since we've promoted him be this far up on the grid in qualifying. He set a 22 flat, 3 tenths quicker basically than Asseldor and Fluffy Butt. And yeah, really solid time, and he's in a great position as we have a long trip up the hill here into turn 1, which is always a bit chaotic. But there are only 10 cars here, so let me just get YouTube up and see if we've actually got people watching. If not, I'm going to start anyway. Give the video a quick like if you are watching, though, and please do subscribe as well. I always never really mention that, but it would be good to have a few likes, more likes on our videos, because I think it would get our videos out to more people. But anyway, let's go back up to Higgsy and see how this race unfolds. We've got 12 laps, which is really long for a sprint race. It does feel really long. So let's see who is going to be the first driver down into turn 1. Higgsy, Hasseldorf, Fluffy Butt. The lights are off now, and it looks like everyone's got off pretty well. No false starts. Higgsy pinching Hasseldorf, and Fluffy Butt's going to try and make it 3 wide. It's going to be 4 wide because Scotty is got ahead of all of them as we head down into turn 1. That is P4 to P1 for Scotty, and Fluffy Butt is trying to follow him around, but Hasseldorf looks like he's got the inside line, and Scotty's gone off in the gravel, so Hasseldorf takes the lead of the race here. So a great opening couple of corners for Hasseldorf. Fluffy Butt is up into second as well. Then we've got Scotty, then we've got Eroticos in 4th place. Higgsy, Raf, Fak, Gilles, Sargent and Deco. But let's go back to the start, because I want to see how Eroticos got from 8th to 4th, and I think he's actually ahead of pole sitter Higgsy now. So a great reaction time. He's already up 3 positions just because of the start. He had 3 slow cars in front of him, which is pretty handy for him. Now he's just watching as everyone is trying to take turn 1. He's going to put the car on the inside of Higgsy. Higgsy goes a little bit wide around the corners, and that puts Eroticos into 4th place here. He's going to have Scotty and Fluffy Butt challenging for this next corner. A little bit of contact between the two of them, and Eroticos himself has gone onto the gravel a bit. He is side by side with Scotty. He's going to try and go the long way around. Scotty hits the bump, but everyone still makes it through, and Higgsy gets a much better exit there. And next to Higgsy is Raf, who's going to try and go the long way round, 3 wide here. He might get pushed. Yeah, he loses all of his momentum and then makes a bit of contact with Fak. Nearly spins it, saves it, but he's going to be all the way at the back of the grid now. Meanwhile, at the front, looks like Hasseldorf's getting away. He's got a bit of a gap for Fluffy, but there's Scotty, Eroticos, Higgsy and Gilles all very close together. Then you have this little battle here. It looks like Deco and Sargent go side by side into the corkscrew. Deco gets ahead. Raf is just going to tuck it behind him, and Sargent is going to be in last place at the moment. So let's see if there's any challenges going on. To be honest, everyone's really close, so it might still come down to the odd mistake here. Raf is trying really hard to get back past Deco, and he's held it around the outside there. He's still alongside enough to go for a bit of a dive into the final corner. There's going to be a drag race out of the final turn. And Raf looks like he's won it. Deco under a bit of pressure now from Sargent, who got a better line through the corner. But I don't think there was an opportunity for him to go for a move there. A bit further up. Everyone's pretty much as you were. Actually, Scotty's got up to second somehow. Does Fluffy Butt make a mistake here? He does. He goes onto the gravel, and that is going to allow Scotty to get past. And now Eroticos is putting some pressure on Fluffy Butt, who's might have some slightly dirty tyres that he's trying to shake off as well. So that was good fortune for Scotty, who kind of did the same thing at the start of lap 1. And good corner there for Eroticos. He's got a bit of a run. Everyone just going around pretty much one by one here. A bit of a wide corner there for Fluffy, but Eroticos has a run as we head into the corkscrew. This might be a little bit dangerous for the two of them. Let's see if Eroticos can hit the apex here on the inside. He backs out of it actually, and Fluffy Butt takes the position and keeps P3 for now. Higgsy's going to feel like he can maybe take advantage of Eroticos with the compromised corners here. And Gilles, our other championship contender, in 6th place. Oh, Eroticos got deep. That is an easy position for Higgsy there, so he's got one of his spots back. And Gilles might try and get a move done on Eroticos before long, because he wants to make as many positions as he can up here, because he is trying to close the gap on Raf at the top of the championship. So there's Senior Fact just appearing, and Raf is starting to catch this group now as well, and leave the has well and truly left the two at the back of the grid there. So a little bit of a gap forming, because he's Scotty with the fastest lap there at 22.6, 6/10 off the pole lap. closing in very quickly on Asseldor. There might be a little challenge for the lead soon. A little bit of a drag race up the hill. It looks like Gilles and Eroticos are having a side-by-side moment here. Eroticos, it's not, it's Senor Fac trying to get past Gilles. And he couldn't do it. Let's see how that even came to be. So it's Fac going to try and go around the outside of the corner. Let's join from Raf's POV, because he's going to close the gap pretty quickly here. So these two are going to lose a lot of time up the hill, because they both were compromised. Now they're going to be compromised around the next corner as well. And Raf is carrying so much extra speed. Fac is under a lot of pressure here. Raf getting pushed a little bit, but he is... Oh, Fac just breaks super late there. And Raf has to kind of tuck in just behind him. So attempt number one, getting that position not successful. It gives Gilles a bit of breathing room, as Eroticos is still sticking with Higgsy, and Scotty is even closer to Asseldor now as we head into the final corner of lap 3. This race down the hill, it's not really enough to get a move done. A little bit further down, Fac is caught back up to Gilles again, so he's had a really strong final sector there after losing a bit of ground. So maybe a mistake there for Gilles at the end of the lap that we didn't see. Fac's going to try and go the long way round turn 1 and 2. And if he can stick it now and keep alongside, he's now got the inside line for the next corner, which he should be able to win. He's still got to give Gilles a bit of room, which he does. He's got the inside line for the next corner to surely get this move well and truly polished off. So that is good news for Gilles. Awful news for good news for Fac. Awful news for Gilles, who has to defend from his championship rival here. Decides not to defend, but he didn't really need to. Raf trying his best to stick as close to Gilles as possible. And yeah, no momentum up the hill like he had on the previous corner. Everyone is starting to cluster together now. Fluffy Butt and Higgsy have closed the gap on the top two, so maybe they had a little look at each other and lost a bit of time at the front. Well, it's looking pretty solid so far for Astor. Eroticos a little bit in the gravel again there. And it looks like Higgsy might have a go at Fluffy Butt here. No, that Jag is just too strong in that part of the acceleration range that the Audi couldn't really get close. Scotty's really close to Asseldor as well. It's going to be one of these situations where a slight mistake is going to open the door, and oh, there's the mistake we were looking for. He's all out of position, Asseldor. Let's go back and see what happened. A little bit wide, and he's going to go a little bit too early on the throttle without, his car hadn't rotated enough basically. So Scotty's going to try and stick his car in, and that's going to be a really easy overtake for the lead. Luckily for him, Fluffy Butt has to defend a little bit from Higgsy here. Yeah, the top four super close together, but Scotty takes the lead of the race, which he, well, for the second time. The first time was only for a couple of seconds. And Higgsy definitely has a run on Fluffy here, and Eroticos has a run up the hill as well. He's got to be careful with the positioning of the car. Everyone makes the corner beautifully there. And Gilles still holding off Raf. It looks like Deco and Sargent still actually aren't that far behind as well. So everyone doing a pretty good job here of avoiding the mistakes, which definitely wasn't the case in our Tier 2. And I'm wondering if, yeah, Senor Fac is joining this group in the top 6 now. And Scotty's not really managed to get away. Higgsy's got the fastest lap of the race. Yeah, still no moves getting done into turn 1 as well. So as it stands in the standings, Gilles would only be gaining a single point off of Raf if it stays as it is. We're still not even halfway through the sprint yet though, and he is starting to gap Raf a little bit as well. So this is definitely Raf's worst performance of the season on pure pace. Quite often being maybe up to half a second quicker at times than the pack that are currently in front of him. So maybe this is a good track for there to be a small grid for Raf, because he's minimising his points loss as Eroticos goes off the track again. And it was going so well. This was due to be easily his best sprint result. And he's down to 7th now after such a good start off the track there. And an unforced error. He slots it in between Gilles and Raf though. And oh, he's got a little bit wide there, and Raf's going to get past him as well. So he's down to 8th. He's got dirty tyres, so he's going to have to look after them a little bit and see what he can do as the race continues. Oh, a little bit wobbly again. What about what's going on a bit further up? So that promotes Wack to 5th, just behind his teammate Higgsy in 4th. So let's see if they can somehow work together to make their way up into the podium positions, which are not very far away at all. Scotty's got a little bit of daylight on Asseldor, who himself hasn't really been troubled by Fluffybutt just yet, so they're all pretty identical on lap times. And Higgsy's the one that looks like he's got all the pace, but he's just not able to make any overtakes in this Audi. I think the Audi's well suited here because Taz got 2 P2s in this car last week. TT Blue as Fluffybutt's made the unforced error. That's Higgsy and Fack surely through. That is an easy overtake for the 2 Audi boys. Let's see how that happened. This is the corner where the slightest mistake, he just, snatches the curb a little bit on the inside, which is very unforgiving, and that is the podium looking a little bit more unlikely now for Fluffy. He's got Shields closing in on him as well, and Raph is right behind. Eroticos has dropped off and actually might be under a little bit of pressure from Deco soon, whose tyres are a little bit better, and that might come into play. Eroticos off the track again. So he's losing his head at this point, and Raph looking a little bit hungry on Gilles, who's getting held up a bit here by Fluffybutt. It's going to be a bit of a fight into turn 1 somewhere. It's either these 3 or the 3 ahead. So Raph is setting some quicker laps now in the low 24s for the first time. And he's really burning through his tyres. That Lexus is horrid on its tyres. It's a very fast car. So you can get yourself in the good position at least to try and defend, but he's not in a good position right now. That's the problem. And Gilles' tyres are like twice as good in terms of the wear. And here is a great run for Raph around that corner. Gilles went slightly defensive, didn't really commit to it, and Raph had to pull out from the corner, but he's going to get another run up the hill here as well. And still not enough into the corkscrew. Maybe if he gets a good exit here. Difficult to get a good exit when there's a car right in front of you though. So they are dropping a little bit off Fluffybutt because Gilles is going defensive in almost every corner here. And you can still see P1 all the way down in P7. There's only a few seconds separating them at the moment. Deco with a half-second penalty might put him down in 10th now. He hasn't served it yet, so he must have just got it. So that's good, bit of good news for Eroticos, who's dropped off a little bit of a better lap that time, a 23.1. Half a second better than the previous lap, and good 2.5 seconds better than the lap before. Let's see, how is Asseldor and Scotty doing? Scotty's in the 23.2s, very solid, and 22.7 for Asseldor, so still being in the 22s with his tyres that worn is really, really solid there, and that's keeping him comfortably ahead of the 2 Audis, and ready to pounce if Scotty even so much as looks at the gravel. Keeping him honest, this is definitely Asseldor's best sprint that I've seen this season. Well, actually, maybe for a while. Asseldor tends to do better in the feature races. But yeah, a much better corkscrew there for Higgsy's put him on the bumper of Asseldor. So a good exit out of the final corner. Look at that, you can just slide the Audi round that corner. Some cars you cannot do that in. is keeping him super close to this Alpha. But the problem is the Audi doesn't have the best acceleration. Its strength is really the corners, which makes overtaking a nightmare. Scotty a little bit wide, but it's not really going to harm him too much, because if you take a wide line through turn 1, you can get a wider exit, which gives you a bit more speed on the run down to the following braking zone. Yeah, Gilles just settled it into P6. He is starting to drive away from Raf now, and I think that's probably a lot to do with the tyre wear. And Rotko's not too far back as well, and his tyres are far better than Raf, so potentially in these last couple of laps, Raf might have to look over his shoulder a little bit. Rotko's can just keep it on the tarmac. He does have good pace. Oh, Raf hasn't kept it on the tarmac. This is a disaster for Raf. And that is going to be P7 for Rotko's. Sergeant Deco a little bit too far back. Gilles trying to move on Asador. Something has happened to Asador as well here. Potentially the exact same thing. Oh, he's just hit the sausage curb. And that is going to be a double Audi podium. The team that is at the top of the constructors. And Fluffybutt's going to get past Asador as well here. So that is 3 positions lost. He's going to just be ahead of Gilles. But that is an absolute disaster. What's happening with the Rot? Because he's a little bit dodgy down the corkscrew. And now we're starting to see a bit of field spread between everyone. And this is great news for Scotty. The man in P2 has completely dropped out. And as long as he doesn't make any mistakes, the Audi should be easy to keep ahead of. Erotica's right on the back of Gilles as well. So it's really turned around for Erotica. You can see P5 about half a second in front of him. Raf is still lurking. I feel like that wasn't the end of the mistakes in this race. So we've got a Vantage, got 2 R8s, then we've got the Jag F-Type, then we've got the Alpha 4C, and then a McLaren, the Renault, and the Lexus. And then the final points will go to the Jag and the other McLaren. So this is the corner that is catching them all out, and it looks like Higgsy was caught out a little bit. His teammate might get the position. He is. Oh dear, our pole sitter nearly had made his way back up to P1. Fax got the corkscrew wrong as well, but he's gonna... Yeah, he survives. Holding up Higgsy a little bit here now after getting the position off him. And something's happening between Gilles and Asador. Looks like Asador maybe lost that position. Is he getting the corkscrew wrong? Oh. Now Gilles thinking, what way do I go? Yeah, I'll just dive down the inside and get that position. Oh, Raf went off very slightly there, but it didn't actually cost him any time. So 1 lap left, and yeah, it's starting to be a little bit chaotic all round. We've got Higgsy sticking with Senor Fax slipstream, keeping himself comfortably ahead of Fluffybutt here. And then Erotica's putting some pressure on Asador into turn 1. And Raf's still lurking, trying to pick up any kind of position. He's 3 behind Gilles. So his lead at the moment, I think it would be cut to maybe 5 or 4 points. Oh, Erotica's on the gravel. This is going to open the door for Raf to chuck it. Surely Raf has to go down the inside here on the last lap. Erotica's leaves in the space. And Raf is fully alongside now. Is everyone going to make it through? They do. And Raf gets the positions. That is 1 point extra on the board for Raf, which he'll be happy with. Let's go back to the front. Let's give Scotty a little bit of love in this final sector. He's going to take his first win of the season in the Vantage, and this is the track to do it at. So yeah, solid start for Scotty, getting himself right at the front. Had to earn his way back to the front after going into the gravel. He takes his win in the sprint race ahead of Senior Fac, Higgsy third, and Flippyfoot is fourth. Giles is fifth to close down the gap in the championship. Astor sixth, Raf seventh, Rotko's eighth, Sargent is ninth, and Deco is 10th. So he will get the reverse grip pole. Right, where is Giles replay? Feature. So what's going to happen in this feature, strategy-wise? I've seen, well, our race, it was just silly, but it was someone in a Citroen, and there's no Citroen in this tier, doing medium soft and making it work. I think the Ferrari can make it work, but again, there's no Ferrari in this tier, so I would be surprised to see anything other than hard medium or medium hard with the state of some of these cars. I mean, maybe the McLaren could do it. So hards for everyone. So I want to stick with, I'm going to jump on board with Higgsy here, because I know 7th and 8th start the feature race in the corner. So they're going to have a bit of a gap between these guys and Gilles in P6, who's going to get a great exit. Looks like Fluffyfoot's going to get a decent enough one. And Fac, actually, Higgsy's just all on his own here. Fac might be he's not really under pressure from Scotty either. A little bit further up, we've got Deco and Sargent having a bit of a challenge for the lead, though. And Deco holds off Sarge to keep the lead. So these guys are all on hard tyres, which you have to be so much more careful around the corner. Rotko's a little bit squirrely there, so Raf might fancy a bit of a go. And again, he's in the gravel. Maybe braking a little bit too late for these corners. Rotko's taking too much speed through them, and Raf is just going to take that position fairly comfortably. Rotko's doesn't fight it. And this is a great opportunity now for Raf to try and get his way to the front and get fairly straightforward win. Deco's just gone off. That means Sargent's going to get his way past and take the lead of this feature race. Deco's going to have to tuck in behind him. So he didn't actually lose too much time there. Then we've got Rotko's got Asseldor and Gilles having a battle again. And it looks like Asseldor's in 5th, Gilles is in 6th. A little bit squirrely out of that corner. And Fluffyfoot might put some pressure on him for 7th, so he's caught up back to this pack. Then Higgsy, Fac and Scotty are pretty much as they were as well. Oh, a little bit of battle here, Raf versus Deco. Looks like Raf's managed to get his way on the inside of the final corner and get up into P2. Erotico's trying to do the same. Is he going to dive it down the inside? He doesn't, but Deco goes super deep. Erotico's couldn't find a way to poke his car through. Maybe in this next corner. Oh, he's gone into the gravel instead. And that is going to be a big spin. Oh, he's getting contact. Gilles made contact. Oh dear. Let's see that again. Just a slow motion. Very sad. And then again, he puts his foot down, which he shouldn't have. So Gilles has some bumper damage. He's lost a position of Fluffy. He's going to lose a position to Higgsy now as well. So absolute disaster for Gilles at the start of this race, getting that bumper damage. He's got Fac and Scotty right behind as well, and he's got a lot of work to do. Definitely going to make it round. It's really difficult to take that corner at the best of times, but when you've got dirty air, it makes it even worse. Then you're Fac thinking about a move. He had some speed there, but there was just nowhere for him to go. Now, corkscrew is an interesting corner because it is very easy for MR cars to spin on the downhill part of the corkscrew. Similar to Bathurst when it turns from uphill to downhill, the MR cars hate that. But everyone seems to be loving... Oh, Deco and Sargent, we've actually seen Miss Nova take the lead as well. So what's going on? Deco is a little bit behind. Sargent takes the corkscrew fine. Is Raf just going to chuck it on the inside here? It's so easy to do if the door's left open. And it's such a long left turn that the car has time to see you. Sargent still made some contact with him anyway. Bit dirty tyres. And what's going to happen here, because I think I saw a little bit of contact somewhere. So Sarge's going deep, and oh, Deco has to almost come to a complete stop to avoid Sargent there, and that is going to allow Asseldor to get the position. So that is a rocky lap there for Sargent Deco as they start falling back a little bit. Then you got Fluffy Butt, Higgsy, Gilles. You got Scotty who's just overtaken Fack, so Fack might have just served a penalty there. And Eroticos is some way cut off, so we've basically got a group of 9 here right at the front, with Raf able to try and build a big lead at the start here. He's in the low 25s. I'm probably expecting him to dip into the 24s on this lap. Then we got Asseldor just ahead of Deco, who wants that position back. Yeah, only 10 people. Everyone was just unavailable this week for some reason. They just hate this track, maybe. I have seen loads of complaints about this track in many tier chats. So everyone snakes through pretty nicely there. And Raf is definitely getting away from Sarge in P2. Sarge is pretty solid. Asseldor's trying to catch his way up to him. And these top 4 are pretty close. Fluffybutt trying his hardest to catch up, and he's got Higgsy not far behind him either. This is going to come down to strategy, and I wonder who is going to do a bit of fuel saving. There is some fuel saving going on in Asseldor's car. Deco doesn't look like he's fuel saving. Oh, again, deep there for Deco. That's allowed Fluffybutt to get close, and then looks like Scotty was trying to move on Gilles, who's down in 7th, but now he's dropped behind Senor Fack as well by going a bit too deep into turn 1. So our race winner from the sprint is struggling a little bit to get through the pack. Let's stick with Asseldor on this move. This battle with Sarge, he does seem to have a little bit more pace. Deco's dropping off the back of them just a little bit now. Should be these corners where the Alpha is a little bit stronger than the Jag. Very tight line there for Asseldor. Still closes the gap though on Sarge. And then, yeah, his chance for an overtake might be over for this lap at least. As, yeah, the top 9 are still snaking round. So what is Raf doing? His fastest lap previously was 24.6, 24.7 this time round. So he's a full, a 25.3 for Sarge, so he's 0.6 quicker than Sarge, and the previous lap he was over a second quicker. And yeah, as long as, well, if Sarge and Asseldor start fighting, Raf's going to build an even bigger lead. So I think we might already have a race winner in this feature. And how's Asseldor doing? He's in the 24s as well, so there's not many drivers in the 24s. So he is going to catch this pack eventually. Let's see, because everyone's bunched together again. Higgsy's struggling to keep ahead of Gilles. And they're all taking really bad lines around that uphill left-hand kink. And Gilles is really alongside now, and Scotty's going to try and get alongside Fack as well. And everyone still manages to take the corkscrew single file. And yeah, pretty much as you were. So everyone's doing a pretty solid job on these hard tyres. No big mistakes, everyone's made the necessary adjustments. Last lap 24.8 compared to a 24.8 as well for Sargent, so actually matched Raf's time. So Sargent finding some good pace now on these hards. And then everyone is setting the quickest laps here, apart from Fluffy, who's set at 25.6. And Gilles also in the mid-25s. Higgsy in the 26s, he's lost a position somehow. The 1 second that I go away. Oh no, we saw that, never mind. Apologies. So yeah, Audi's not having the best start to this feature race. And to be honest, Deco and Sargent are doing a really good job, considering how they were the only two not really with the main pack in the sprint. They haven't really let anyone pass them apart from Raf and one of them for Asseldor. Let's see what Fluffy Butt can do though now. It looks like he is catching up to Deco. Deco's just put a tyre into the gravel. Looks like some better braking there for Fluffy Butt. The gap is definitely tightening. Fluffy may be looking to get into the 24s for the first time. But no, that's where the Jag really suffers, essentially, around that little infield section at the end of the lap. And that is why Fluffy Butt's not really going to be putting a move on, and none of these guys are either. So what about Asseldor? He's pretty close now. Sargent feels the need to go defensive, so Asseldor's going to brake nice and late there, try and get alongside, be a bit of a nuisance for Sargent, but Sargent is wise to it and covers everything off. Gets a pretty solid exit, but he's wide into turn 3, much wider than Asseldor was, and now Asseldor's going to try and go around the outside. And I thought Sarge was spinning there, but Asseldor gets P2. Sarge down in another position. This is really good news for Asseldor, because you would expect him to start to drive away from these two now. And Deco is right behind Sargent again. So a bit of a hairy couple of corners there for Sargent, but he does survive and he still is in a decent position, but he's about to lose it. He saves it at the last second round the corner. Now what's Deco going to do? He's going to try and go around the outside here up the hill. And Sargent covers it off pretty well. And Deco stays in fourth, and Fluffy Butt's going to try and move on Deco here. A little bit of contact and he backs out of it, but now Giles is going to try and get around Fluffy Butt, and that's going to be an easy overtake there for Giles. It's a bit overzealous there for Fluffy. Oh, Deco's just lost it. Oh dear. And he might... That is really disappointing. He was going to start challenging Sargent, I thought, and now he's in the wall. And is Erotico's going to be close to him, or is... Oh, Deco's quit. That means 0 points. That would have been, what, 15 points? Like, at least 6 points there that Deco would have scored if he just carried on. So we're down to 9. Raf is going even quicker, 24.5, which is 1.4 better than Asseldor managed that lap where he got the position on Sargent. Giles now up into 4th though, because of Fluffy Butt's losing that position. Fluffy Butt having to look over his shoulder because there's 2 Audis fairly close behind, and Scotty. None of these guys have made any overtakes. They've only made up 2 positions in total. Scotty trying desperately to get past Fak here. Oh dear. Alright, let's see what happened here. So, we're turning in. I mean, he is enough alongside to be entitled to the room. I just don't think that 2 go into this corner. The contact happens there. So Scotty could be a little bit further to the left, to be honest. And then Scotty is turning in, but Fak is already getting sent into the gravel here. I would have said that is on Scotty a little bit, but it is tight. It is tight. And Fak has a long way to go. See, if Deco had stayed in, he'd be back up into 8th position right now. Fak really struggling here, so Eroticos isn't going to be last now. That is the slowest rejoin from a gravel trap that I've ever seen in my life. So now we've got Fluffy Butt and Higgsy pretty close together here. And Higgsy's definitely got a run on, sorry, there we are, on the Jag here. Fluffy Butt defending the inside into turn 1. And, yeah, shuts the door quite firmly there. Scotty's going to try and have a look on the outside of Higgsy, but he can't do anything about it. So So Higgsy carries on in 6th. Very close between these guys. I think any little error is going to result in a big shift in the positions of these guys. Jill slowly closing in on Sargent as well ahead, who just hit the gravel, so there might be a bit of an overtake there, but let's stick with these because Higgsy's closed in again. This Audi just looks so planted around here. Look at that, carrying so much speed through the corner. And a little bit wide there for Fluffy. And he's going to go really tight around this corner because he knows that it's easy to dive bomb in, but his exit's going to be compromised and Higgsy might be able to get it, but Fluffy is staying close to the right to stop Higgsy from getting a position there. Meanwhile, Sargent's under a lot of pressure now from Gilles. So, the Jag's under a lot of pressure here. Corner after corner. But again, they drive away down the straight, and Scotty's actually putting more pressure on Higgsy than anything else. Right at the back, Eroticos has a good few seconds on Senor Fak, so let's see. Eroticos is 25.7, this is going to be a 25.5, so Fak is only a couple of tenths quicker than Eroticos. He's got some hard work to do to catch up. Let's have a quick look at the fuel. Astor's using a lot of fuel, Sarge is using a lot of fuel, as is Gilles. Raf is using hardly any. Fluffy Butt's doing a better job at short shifting. Higgsy's using a lot of fuel. And Scotty's using a lot of fuel. And then these guys, it doesn't matter too much, but Eroticos does have better fuel than Fak. So up the hill here, Higgsy's got another good run on Fluffy Butt. He's going to try and get on the inside here into the braking zone. A little bit of contact. I think that got him a 5 seconds potentially. Now a bit more contact around the corner. That was just fair racing. So Higgsy gets the position. And yeah, here we go. That's how you get. That's how you get a 15-second penalty. So great news for Scotty. Gets an easy 2 positions. Let's watch that from his point of view. So up to the corkscrew. He's like, what do? I could make it 3 wide into the corkscrew. Let's not though. Oh, contact between them two. Let's just be careful around here. And they're still side by side, so Scotty still has to be a little bit careful. He's going to try and take a wide line through the corner to get a good exit and a good run. But Fluffy has to kind of cover from Scotty here. Scotty gets another good run on Fluffy. Fluffy's having to go defensive on him. And then he sees the carnage. Leaves just about enough room and gets 2 spots there. And Higgsy rejoins down in 7th, and Fluffy Butt is going to be just behind Scotty. That 5 seconds is harsh. I think that's harsh as well, because let's go back. Let's psychoanalyze this. So, again, we'll do it frame by frame. Well, actually, here's the braking zone at the white marker there, and you're not sufficiently alongside. Oh, I put it into photo mode, 1 second. Look, you're not alongside. So, you're really kind of not entitled to the space here, and then you kind of push him wide. So, yeah, I actually, on watching it live, I think it's absolutely fine, but watching it like that, I think the 5 seconds is fair. Anyway, let's not rewatch that carnage afterwards. So a little bit further up, this is good news for the top 4 because they are creating quite a big gap now. It was really close to the top 9 for quite a long time, but now we've got Raf off in the distance, and then you can see Asseldor, who's using more fuel, so really he's a lot closer to these two than you'd think. So it's a 3-way battle for P3, 2, 3 and 4. Scotty, now he has some clean air for the first time. Let's see what kind of pace he can put in. Can he drop Fluffy Butt and start to close the gap? The Audis are having an absolute terrible race, 7th and 9th after their double podium, both being in the wars. And Sargent's really covering off Gilles well here as well. They've both got pretty similar fuel usage. Interesting to see Gilles not taking advantage of the McLaren's fuel. It looks like he's revving it out quite heavily. Because if he'd been saving this whole stint, or maybe the McLaren just doesn't have good fuel around here, I don't know. Bit too tight round there for Gilles. He had no room to accelerate out of the corner. Yeah, he is saving a little bit. Let's see how much Sarge is saving, because yeah, he needs to be saving a bit more in that Jag. You can save fuel save massively. Yeah, a little bit earlier Fluffy Butt's shifting up, which is why he's got, yeah, maybe a lap more of fuel at this point. Does Fluffy? Oh, bit of a dodgy corner there for Sarge. Gilles has a good run on him now. Is this going to be P3? Not quite. But he is under a lot of pressure once again. So end of lap 12, and he's done half a tank, and he's coming in. He's going to be the first person to come in. So this is the McLaren strength, the tyre management, and he thinks that he could do the next 17 laps on the mediums, and he's going to get a great undercut on everyone else as well. So he could potentially, depending on how long Raf stays out, he could be ahead of Raf after the pit phase. Erotico's trying to do the same thing. Comes in from P8 with a lot of fuel still in his tank. Raf's carrying on, lapping in the mid 45s, actually a little bit slower than Asseldor. Sargent finally can set some laps without having someone breathing down his neck. Scotty has completely dropped Fluffy Butt there as well. Higgsy quite a long way behind. Excuse me. I am still a bit sick. Yeah, Higgsy's last lap was a 32, so he's made another mistake. Let's go back and see it. There we go. So it wasn't too far behind Fluffy Butt. He goes off track there. We nearly missed it. And maybe putting a little bit too much faith in the tyres. So Gilles is going to come out, and of course he's in clear air. So this is great news for Gilles. Just putting around 75%. A little bit more than what Eroticos has put in. So we will have to see how that pans out for Gilles. He's got to activate sweat mode right now. You see Higgsy trying to recover now. So his first race for pole position in Tier 2, it hasn't panned out the way that he would have hoped, but part of that's because the Audi just starts terribly, and here he comes into the pits now. So no one from the top 5 came in, but Higgsy is coming in, so I'm assuming, I know Senor Fak is staying out. So this will help Higgsy close the gap somewhat. But yeah, that second trip into the gravel in 2 laps is the one that is potentially harming him the most. So who is close together right now? I don't think anyone's close. Oh, Roscoe's a little bit on the gravel again. Let's watch some onboards with Raf then. His tyres are pretty sad at the moment, but he's still attacking these corners very aggressively. This is the part of the race where you can easily lose 5+ seconds just because you're pushing too hard, because it's the crucial part of the race. So he upshifts into second to exit the corkscrew. Manages to tiptoe around that corner, avoiding all of the sausage curbs. Is he going to come in on this lap? I don't think the Lexus can do that. What about Asseldor? Is he coming in? No, doesn't have much faith in his car. Sargent is going to do 15. Same for Scotty. I'm assuming Fluffy Butt's going to come in as well. No, Fluffy is staying out. So let's ride on board with Gilles on his medium tyres. Sarge is in the pit. Sarge was just ahead of Gilles before the pit stop. Yeah, Gilles is setting a fairly decent lap. There's the yellow flags. Oh no, come on. What's going on? Oh no. Is he going to spin into the pits? Don't reverse into the pits, you'll just get reset. And here comes Gilles around this corner. Back does go into the pits. So let's see what kind of lap time we're going to get. Are we going to get a fastest lap from Gilles? It doesn't look like it. Oh, it is the fastest lap, a 24.2. Sargent is coming out of the pits right now. There he is. He's got a tighter first corner, but it does look like Gilles is going to be ahead, although with slightly more worn tyres for this stint. Scotty just behind. Higgsy is going to be a long way back behind Scotty anyway. So this is alright for Scotty. Chance of getting the undercut extended. Potentially could get Asseldor. Asseldor stayed out really late on these hards. Is it going to come back to bite him? We've got Raph finally coming into the pits. Asseldor, ooh, he does decide to come in. Surely Fluffy Butt's coming in as well. No, he stays out again. So the question's going to be, has Gilles been able to get past Asseldor as well? Asseldor did have a bit of a gap on Sargent, but this is a lot of extra laps on the hard tyres. Looks like Gilles is going to try and set the fastest lap again. Erotica's with the 23.8. So Gilles' first lap on these mediums actually wasn't that good. Raph's already coming out of the pit, so it's definitely just going to be a battle for P2 for Gilles and damage limitation in this race. Now I'm pretty sure that's Asseldor coming into turn 1. And it looks like Asseldor's done enough to come out ahead and be on the fresher tyres. I think Gilles maybe needed a couple more seconds and then he would have been comfortable in second place here. So that is great news for Asseldor. Absolutely terrible for Gilles and his attempt at getting this championship. Because that is 2 or 3, I can't remember, points lost, even more on Raph than what he's going to lose in this race. So I think Raph is going to overall extend his lead in the championship if he manages to get this win. Fluffy Butt is carrying on again. Is he going to try and do a hard soft or something? He's got a half second to serve as well on the following lap. So yeah, the perfect feature race so far for Raph. Asseldor, is he going to come under pressure from Gilles? Gilles had this lap with warmer tyres than Asseldor, so that might have helped him keep close, but Asseldor's tyres will be warming up nicely now as he starts his first full lap on this stint. You've got Scotty trying to close down Sargent as well. So Sargent is all of a sudden trying to keep hold of P5 here. These are the main two battles, for second and third, and fourth and fifth. Let's stick on board with Gilles. Let's see how these two are adapting to life on the mediums. A little bit extra grip. Can take a lot more speed around a lot of the corners and brake later as well, especially for some of the heavier braking ones. Asseldor a little bit wide around there is going to open an opportunity, potentially up the hill. And a much better corner there for Gilles. Well, Asseldor still managing to carry loads of speed despite not hitting the apex. The Alpha's an interesting car because it's not one of the more popular ones, but it always seems to perform fairly decently when it's picked. A little bit like the Beetle, although I would rate the Beetle higher than the Alpha, personally. It's good. I think GT's in a healthy state at the moment in terms of BOP. I think there's a lot of cars that can win every single week. The only one that seems to be a little bit overpowered, at least on this calendar so far, is the Citroen. They've really, the only critique, maybe I think they've gone a little bit too far in terms of the adjustments they made to MR cars. Before, the MR cars were pretty useless because none of them, apart from the Porsche and the McLaren, could look after the tyres. You could never pick them. Now they're not useless anymore. The tyre model was completely fixed. But I do think MR, because they corner so much better and have so good grip at so many tracks compared to the FR cars, they do have the edge. And I think if someone ran the statistics, I think MR cars in the last maybe 2 seasons would have won a lot more races than the FRs. So Fluffybutt is carrying on for yet another lap, so yeah, he's definitely doing the medium soft. So yeah, the top cars here, so the Lexus is an FR. We know the Lexus is one of the best in the game, it always will be. Then we got MR. No, Sargent is actually on FR. He used to be in the Ferrari last season, so that's why I'm confused. And then another FR. Then we have these cars, which should be really in the top 5, but they've all had absolute nightmares. Will the tyre model change with Dunlap? Not necessarily. Maybe, I'm wondering if there's just going to be a whole new physics change with Spec 3 though, to be honest. They never really announce when they change things like that ahead of time, and they just drop it on you. But maybe we'd have heard about a huge physics change. There's definitely going to be some BOP changes. I'm absolutely certain of it. So the last couple of rounds of this season might be a little bit fruity. So I think Fluffy is going to really struggle at the end. I mean, he's lapping in the 26s. Higgsy is lapping in the 23s. So even though Higgsy went off and lost loads of time, he might be racing his arch rival once again at the end of this race when he comes in. He's carrying on for yet another lap, so he still doesn't think that there's enough for the softs to last the whole race. But yeah, Raf is catching up to him despite being a pit stop down. Asseldor is keeping Gilles comfortably behind with that much better tyre life. Scotty is ahead of Sargent, and we've missed something. Is that it? Bit of an easy overtake there. And something happened a bit further down as well. Here we go. Another spin for Eroticos. Out of turn 3. Senor Back had caught up to him as well. Oh. Yeah, was there contacts? Was there a little bump? No, I don't think so. I think that was another unforced error there for Eroticos, so it could have been a huge points haul tonight for the ex-Tier 1 driver, but he's going to score almost the minimum points that he could possibly. Again, another reason why I think Deco should have stayed, because I think he'd have been fighting with Higgsy and potentially Fluffy, but despite his one mistake there, because his pace wasn't that bad. Fluffybutt's been lapping in the 26 zeros the last 2 laps, which is 2.4 slower than what Raf is managing. Raf doesn't look like he's going to get the fastest lap. Scotty's fast lap is pretty solid there. Scotty might be able to catch these two as well. If he can keep, I mean, he's 0.6 a lap quicker than Gilles. I think it's possible with the amount of laps that we've got left. So maybe an outside shot of a podium for Scotty, a double podium on the cards. Really dialed in that Vantage, that's for sure. It's a good job we don't have downforce settings on Monday League, because that Vantage has to be banned when you're allowed to set whatever downforce you want. Is Fluffy finally coming in? Yes, he is. Right, okay, let's go down to Higgsy and see him finish his lap. Because I think we're going to have a scenario where Higgsy might actually be able to get ahead of Fluffy in this pit stop. But Fluffy's going to have soft tyres. So it might be a short battle. But surely, unless Fluffy, like, if Fluffy keeps ahead, he's done pretty well. He's not going to have to put in that much fuel. Because he's massively fuel saved at the end of that stint. And Higgsy's recovering nicely because he's not that far away from Sargent. So Fluffy's putting in fuel, so this should be comfortable for Higgsy to be ahead. Fluffy is starting to leave the pits now, and Higgsy's already going around turn 1 and 2. So Fluffy's going to have a little bit of work to do. Oh, he's come out on the mediums. Oh dear. Well, he's going to have really fresh mediums for the rest of the race. Might get the fastest lap, but that, I think that's the wrong. I don't know. Oh, a little bit too much speed. The tyres are still cold. Got a little bit wide around the corners there. So Higgsy's in 6th anyway. He's going to have to try and keep that for the rest of the race. So we'll see if there's any more fireworks between them two. Raf retakes the lead. So this is, as it stands, let's have a quick look and see what this would do to the standings. This would give Raf a 9-point lead. So basically, as you were at the start of the week. Asador would move up into 5th place in the standings, so that's much better for him, but he would still be 37 points off of Raf. Scotty would move back into the top 10, and this would be a great finish for Sarge. This would be Sarge's best result of the season, a P5. His previous best was a 7th in Deep Forest Sprint at round 1. Really consistent though, always 7th, 8th, 9th or 11th this season. So this is booking a trend in the right way. And then Higgsy would be 4th in the standings. Yeah. So who's going to give us the spice at the end of this race? Is it going to be Gilles? His tyres are still a lot worse than Asseldor's, so it's going to be a tough one for him to do. Alfa Romeo were leading the constructors after the opening, I think, 2 rounds. They're due to drop all the way down to 4th. Wack has endured an up and down season in the other Alfa Romeo, and then has missed this round altogether, which is some easy points lost when you're thinking about it. Let's stick with Scotty as well, because I think Scotty is the man on a charge. He's doing 23.9s, a couple of 10s quicker than Gilles, and a couple of 10s quicker than Asseldor. But he does have better tyres than Gilles, so Gilles might start dropping off a little bit, and Scotty might be able to get that double podium for the night. Actually, who's had double podiums this season? Raf's had 2 double podiums. Gilles has not had a double podium. Perry's had a double podium. I think that might be it, just Raf and Perry. And obviously Platt, but he's in tier 1 now. No one else has managed to get a double podium. So this would be quite a big achievement if Scotty can do it. He's maybe 2 seconds away from Gilles. Really struggling around that corner. Yeah, let's see, what are the lap times this time? 23.9, really good lap there. 24th lap for Gilles and a 23.9 for Scotty. So there's nothing to separate them. They're not able to close the gap on each other. And what's Fluffy Butt up to on his new mediums? He's set a 24.2, which isn't great when the fastest lap's 22.9. We're 23.7, much better. 3/10 quicker than Higgsy, but he is a little bit too far back, I think. Unless Higgsy makes a little mistake there. I think he's got that P6 zone up. Next week we're at Catalunya. So that is the most MR track of the season. Very, very high on tyre wear, especially on the front left, I think it is. I haven't done any practice yet, I need to jump on after this. Which obviously the MR cars don't enjoy too much. It is going to be a sprint where some cars are probably going to have to start on the mediums, even in the higher tiers, because of how horrendous tyre wear is. I've already seen Autoration in his Dodge Viper not able to do a full sprint with full life on his tyres. Really hard to get overtakes done, even in the Group 3s at Catalunya though. So there's going to have to be quite a delta difference in the tyre wear for overtakes to be done. I think if you have to start on the mediums though, you're going to fall back pretty quickly. Gill's starting to fall back from Asador and get caught a bit by Scotty now. So it definitely isn't over yet. And he's on the gravel. Scotty kind of follows him a little bit. Mistakes starting to creep in. The tyre wear means that you have to adjust your driving ever so slightly in order to take the corners as well as you have been. And then there's a huge gap between Scotty and Sarge for P5. Sarge is actually getting caught pretty handily here. So Sarge is lapping the 25 flat, 1.1 seconds slower than Higgsy. So Higgsy might still finish in the top 5. Corner. Let's see what Scotty could do. This is really important for Gilles actually for his championship to fend off Scotty, because this is 2 points extra that he'd lose from Raf, and as we've seen this season, Raf is just always at the front, and so you need to be as close to the front as possible to minimise any points loss, just in case later down in the season Raf has an off week. But we said at the start of this round, well, Raf looks like this is definitely his worst round pace wise. Well, that seems to only have been the case in the sprint race, because on these hard tyres he looks super strong, left the field, managed to get the crucial overtakes done early in the race, and after everyone else got the overtakes done on the kind of back markers, not really back markers because there is no back when there's only 9 drivers, but yeah, they've not really been able to close the gap at all, despite us having the perception that they were quicker. So he's lapping in the 24 2s and 3s, pretty much identical to Asador and to Gilles, and the only man quicker is Scotty. But unfortunate for Scotty, he was he was stuck, unable to make any overtakes for the first few laps of this race. Lost a bit of ground. Right, 3 more. 3 more laps of one. This is like probably the same as trying to commentate an F1 race. Just nothing's going to happen. We all know nothing's going to happen for the rest of the race. I mean, Higgsy, come on, catch Sarge, give us something. Give us something here. Maybe someone will run out of fuel. Watch the end of the Tier 2 Blue feature race. You'll laugh. Someone runs out of fuel. I won't tell you who. So last lap for Higgsy, still in the 23s, only 8/10 quicker from Sargent. So Sargent's sorting out his act a little bit, responding a bit to the pressure from Higgsy, whose rear tyres are starting to go off quite quickly at the end of this one. And Scotty's tyres are going off, so he might not have enough left to challenge for an overtake here now that he has caught up to the back of Gilles. It's only if someone kind of goes into the gravel in these next couple of corners. Sarge really flirting with the edge of the track there. Takes the corner just fine, as does Higgsy. Fluffy butt on his fresh mediums, is lapping in the low 23s. Never mind. And then Eroticos is nearly a lap down. Raf is on the same straight as Eroticos. That is rough. He did a 1 minute 50 the previous lap, which we missed. Let's not watch another one though. That's a 25 seconds that he lost on a single lap though. That's pretty bad. Here we go. 2 laps to go. Gilles has now fully been caught by Scotty here. A 24.6 compared to a 24.6, but down the straight, Scotty's managed to close the gap massively, and they are pretty much nose to tail through sector 1. Oh, Scotty clatters the sausage curb, goes a little bit wide, and that gives Gilles maybe enough breathing room for the next few corners to be able to hold it off Scotty just a little bit more. Scotty's tyres really struggling now. I think that is a little bit why the corners are getting taken the way they are. We could see some offs in these last couple of laps with the tyres in such a bad way. Higgsy's still driving pretty smooth there. Fluffy Butt's tyres in amazing condition. Send you off back. Yeah, unfortunate for Fak, he finished second in the sprint race. We've got Raf, who's just started his fastest lap, his final lap now, just dipping into the 25s for the first time on these mediums in the last couple of laps. Not really had the best pace, to be honest, on the mediums, has Raf, but doesn't matter too much. He set a couple of very quick laps at the start of the stint, but he did pit a lot later than everyone else. Took advantage of his fuel tank, not really needing that much fuel compared to everyone else, despite losing the time doing the overcut. Asador, as soon as he hit P2, he's never had to really look back. He never got fully challenged by Gilles. It was pretty much over as soon as the second stint started, and Asador didn't get undercut by Gilles. And Gilles had to look over his shoulder for this last stint, but Scotty is starting to drop off now, and that is definitely down to the tyres being pretty dead on this final lap. You got Sargent and Higgsy super close together now as they head up to the corkscrew. But let's go back to the front because we've got Raf taking the final corner now. Distinct driver, he's going to rebuild his championship lead that he lost very slightly in the sprint race, and it's back up to 9 points at the halfway point of the season. We've got Asador, who takes P2, really good result there to get into the top 5 of the championship. Gilles, damage limitation in 3rd, fends off Scotty in 4th. And then we've got Higgsy and Sargent battling each other out of the final corner. This is good to be P5 for Sargent, just ahead of Higgsy, beats him in the drag race. And then Fluffy Butt is going to be 7th. This is going to drop him to 8th though, because Senor Fak is going to get that position due to that 15-second penalty we mentioned earlier. And then Eroticos is going to take P9. We don't really need to watch the rest of this one because he is so far back, nearly a full lap back. He's got to go back to the drawing board and try again in the second half of the season. He's going to try to beat his own fastest lap. At least he's getting the fastest lap point, but that he's got into the gravel there, so that is his attempt to beat his own time scuppered. So next week we're at Catalonia. It's going to be another one where tyre management is going to be super important. But yeah, thanks for watching, and yeah, join me then.